This is a book called President Donald J. Trump, the Son of Man, the Christ. Now, somebody sent me a picture of this book at a Trump rally a while back. Apparently, the guy who wrote it, Helgard Muller, has been going to Trump rallies, passing a copy of his book out to everybody. Let me give you an idea of the premise of the argument here. In the Bible, there are two messianic roles. There's a Son of God and the Son of Man. The Son of God was obviously fulfilled by Jesus. He came to earth, died for your sins, and all of that other good stuff, right? The Son of Man is referred to in the Bible in a number of Old Testament books. The book of Daniel, I think, mentions the Son of Man, the book of Ezekiel, and some others. The Son of Man is supposed to be like a cosmic judge who comes along at the end, sparks Armageddon into existence, and judges all of the good people and the bad people, basically. The assumption is that Jesus is going to come back a second time, take control of the Israeli political system. That's why Israel needs to exist as a nation before Jesus could come back, because that's one of the requirements for the Son of Man, for somebody to be the Son of Man, and then spark Armageddon into place. That's the belief among standard Christianity. This guy's argument, Helgard Muller, is that America is the new Israel, that the founding fathers were descendants of the original Jews that came up through the Caucasus Mountains or whatever else. Complete nonsense, just totally made up. And that Trump took control of the political system in New Israel, which made him the Son of Man. So that is their argument for Trump being the second coming of Jesus. That's what this book is all about, so I wanted to give it a read. We've been reading it already. If you haven't seen the previous parts, don't sweat it. You don't have to see the others to understand what's happening in the current chapter. Do not believe literally a single fact, a single statistic, a single word out of this guy's mouth, just based on what I've already read. Even the most basic facts, like the names of political parties or the translation of words, are wrong. He lies about them constantly. So before you believe a single thing out of this book, make sure you fact check it. And one more thing before we actually get into the book. Some of it can be pretty graphic. The guy is a rabid racist, does not like the black community, grew up in South Africa during the period of segregation called apartheid, and is very obviously an extremely hateful person. So just be aware of that before walking into the book. Without further ado, let's get into it. This is chapter 26 of the book, President Donald J. Trump, the Son of Man, the Christ. In the last chapter, if I remember correctly, he was trying to give us more reasons why he believes that Donald Trump is the Messiah. It got absolutely wacky, dude. So let's see what he has to say in these chapters. This one is titled President Donald John Trump and His Boeing. I'm sorry, no. I missed an important part here. President Donald John Trump, comma, and his Boeing. Like, even the chapter names are incorrect grammar. Also, notice the first three words in this chapter are not capitalized. In previous chapters, they were. In previous chapters, they were. This is chapter 26. Let's just look here. 25, first three words are capitalized. Chapter 24, same thing, first three words. 23 is also capitalized, but chapter 22, the first three words are not capitalized. In chapter 21, the first five words are capitalized. There's no consistency in this entire book. Seriously. It's all just complete nonsense. Anyway, let's go ahead and read it. Trump Force One is an informal name analogous to Air Force One for the Trump Organization's Boeing 757 used by Donald Trump prior to his presidency. This sounds like a direct quote from Wikipedia. I discovered a couple chapters ago that this guy plagiarizes Wikipedia a lot. This sounds like it's been plagiarized from somebody. How did I know? Check that out. Trump Force One has a Wikipedia page. Trump Force One is an informal name analogous to Air Force One for the Trump Organization's Boeing 757 used by Donald Trump prior to and after his presidency. And now back to the book. Exact quote, word for word. Half this book is just plagiarized from Wikipedia. This is insane. The name was in use during his presidential campaign of 2016. The 757 has been idle since 2019 and is in long-term storage with one engine removed. On May 21, 2021, the former president revealed that the plane was undergoing extensive maintenance work, receiving new upgraded jet engines, as well as interior and exterior work, including getting a new livery? Okay, that word is not on the Wikipedia article. And, okay, the word is not on the Wikipedia article, and apparently there isn't a definition? Special uniform work by a servant or official, short for livery stable? I've never heard this word before. I have no idea what that is, but okay. Quote, many people have asked about the beautiful Boeing 757 that became so iconic during the Trump rallies, the president claims. Trump's personal plane with his name emblazoned on its side was frequently seen as a backdrop during rallies. And while campaigning, if you saw a photo of him aboard a plane, noshing on KFC, what the heck is noshing? I've never heard that word before. Apparently it is a word. Filling the freezer with all kinds of nosh is context for that. There doesn't seem to be a definition, just a use case. Okay, noshing on KFC. It was on this Boeing, equipped with seat buckles covered in 24-karat gold and ornate bathrooms to match. Yeah, Trump has an obsession with gold. You know that Trump lives on the 26th floor of Trump Tower? I think that's just how tall Trump Tower is 26 stories. Which floor does Trump live on, NYC? Okay, Trump Tower is 58 stories, apparently. 660 feet tall. The cutoff between a high-rise and a skyscraper is 35 floors. Past 35 floors, it's a skyscraper. You have to have a bunch of extra special stuff to go along with it. I think Trump lives on the 26th floor, but I could be wrong about that. Anyway, yeah. All right, let's keep reading. Since being banned from most forms of social media, Trump has decided to get his word out by issuing statements on his website, www.donaldjtrump.com. Is that real? Okay, apparently he does have that website, and he sells merch and stuff on there. Interesting. Now he has Truth Social. Always titling his messages, Statement by Donald J. Trump, 45th President of the United States of America, Trump released a statement regarding the plane that read, many people have asked about the beautiful Boeing 757 that became so iconic during the Trump rallies. It was effectively kept in storage in upstate New York in that I was not allowed to use it during my presidency. Yeah, he had to use, I guess, one of their planes, I'm assuming, like one of the U.S. government's planes. I guess. I mean, I don't even know if these quotes are real, and I would be skeptical about them, but that would be a reasonable explanation for why he would say something like this. It is now being fully restored and updated and will be put back into service sometime prior to the end of the year. It will soon be brought to a Louisiana service facility for the completion of work, inspection, and updating of Rolls-Royce engines and a brand new paint job. Brand new is a single word here, no space, B-R-A-N-D-N-E-W. Brand new. And the dictionary doesn't seem to be able to make heads or tails of it. When completed, it will be better than ever and again used at upcoming rallies. End quote. After Trump formally announced his candidacy on June 16, 2015, the American reality television star used the plane to jet off to campaign rallies across the country. Trump Force One became a promotional ploy, featuring prominently as a backdrop behind the stage at his rallies. Okay, I don't know why I care or what this has to do with anything. Isn't this supposed to be a book about how Trump is really Jesus? Why are we talking about Trump Force One? Jesus also had a boat for himself ready for campaigning, according to Mark 3:9. The parallels between Jesus, the Son of God, and the Son of Man, Donald Trump, are tremendously enormous. You simply cannot overlook them. Jesus had his boat always ready, which was also in the background, according to Matthew 13, just like President Donald Trump's Boeing is seen in the backdrop during his rallies. Okay, Jesus did not always have his boat ready. There's a single story in the Bible about Jesus and a boat, I think. That's very different from always having a boat ready and in the background as a show of how rich he is. Let's just take a look at Matthew 13, too, the one he quoted. And great multitudes were gathered together unto him, so that he went into a ship and sat, and the whole multitude stood on the shore. Okay, that's not the same as him using that as a show of money. Jesus didn't believe in having a bunch of money and showing it off. He said, if you believe in me and you want to follow me, then sell all your stuff and give it all to the poor. I'll give all the money to the poor and follow me. That's what he said. He wasn't about wealth. But if you've been following along this entire time, you'll know that the Son of Man, the supposed second coming of Jesus, has to be the exact opposite of Jesus. He has to be the antithesis of Jesus to be the Son of Man. Just nuts, man. Jesus' followers followed his ship wherever he went, according to Matthew 14. Okay, I didn't read that. Matthew 14:13. When Jesus heard what happened, he withdrew by boat privately to a solitary place. Hearing of this, the crowds followed him on foot from the towns. Okay, that doesn't necessarily mean that they... Hang on, what was it he said exactly? Jesus' followers followed his ship wherever he went, according to Matthew 14:13. You know what? I'm not even going to pick this battle. Let's just go on. It's kind of a ridiculous point anyways. Just like President Donald Trump, wherever he went campaigning with his Boeing, his followers followed him. There were numerous scriptures on how Jesus traveled with a boat campaigning to his followers, just as there are numerous news articles about President Trump flying with his Boeing throughout the United States campaigning to his followers. It is a biblical phenomenon that is playing right in front of everyone's eyes, and no one is aware who Trump really is. And then, at last, the sign that the Son of Man, President Donald J. Trump, is coming will appear in the heavens with his Boeing 757, and there will be deep mourning among all the peoples of the earth. What? And they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory, according to Matthew 24:30. Okay, so is he saying the idea that the Bible claimed that he would be coming from heaven is backed up by the fact that Trump uses an airplane? Okay. On February 5th, 2017, I dreamt that I was standing with a woman in a room. On the table, there is a Boeing 747 model. On this Boeing 747 model was written in big black bold letters, Son of Man. I then asked the woman if she knew who was the Son of Man written here on top of the Boeing 747 model, ? I then asked the woman if she knew who was the Son of Man written on the top of the Boeing 747 model? ? Trying to phrase it better. The woman said, "It's Jesus, the Son of God." I then said no, that it was not so, and that I also saw that it is not going to help her explain who the Son of Man is, who is going to come on the fourth day, because time has caught up with me and the fourth day is already at hand. Wow, that was a sentence. I then walked out of the room without further explanation and woke up from this dream. This is just a fever dream. This is an absolutely insane book. Chapter 27, President Donald John Trump, who brought division. I guess division is supposed to be a quality of the Antichrist also? The newspapers and, once again, 3 capital letters at the beginning of a chapter. Didn't happen last one. The editor phoned it in on this one. Yeah, if there was an editor. I don't think there was. There doesn't appear to be an editor. Honestly, it's better than Andrew Tate's book. Andrew Tate's book is just absurd on every level. You know, we'll get there when we get there. That's the next one I'm planning to read. The newspapers and the television were filled with coverage of how President Donald Trump brought division and not unity and peace. I laughed at all these Jewish media houses, oh boy, here we go, and how these liberals and Democrats spewed their hate toward Trump and his followers. I was once again startled at how President Donald J. Trump fulfilled more prophecies about him as the Son of Man. It was something out of this world to witness, and no one cared to acknowledge that they are part of the division which President Trump caused. You could feel this division when he left Washington, D.C., and everywhere you went, people talked about this great man who was the greatest president ever. This is bad. You see this division that will take place when the Son of Man comes in quite a few biblical scriptures. The Son of Man will reign as king on his glorious throne, and this great division will take place when he left, and the right will forevermore be divided and separated from among each other, according to Matthew 25, and there is no preventing from what is about to happen soon in this world. I am so confused by that sentence, that run-on sentence. It feels like a fever dream. This is nuts. When President Donald Trump delivered his inaugural speech on January 20th, 2017, he promised an end to American carnage, painting a bleak picture of a divided, dysfunctional nation he had insisted that he alone could fix. Closing out his presidency exactly 4 years later, Trump leaves behind an even more polarized America. Wow! Dude seems to be admitting that Trump claimed he alone could fix it, and he would if he was given the chance, but he didn't. He left the country worse off than he found it. Okay? And how does he square that? Trump's refusal to concede defeat to Democratic President-elect, one word, President-elect, Democratic President-elect Joe Biden and his encouragement of his supporters to descend on the Capitol means his term is ending amid a swirl of untruths that millions of Republicans have taken to heart, creating a serious challenge for the new administration to win their trust. Wait, is he saying that the swirl of untruths were repeated by Donald Trump? I feel like I'm just so confused about what he's trying to communicate here. This is a train wreck of a book. Oh my God, dude. Former President Donald Trump left America more polarized than ever at the national, state, and congressional level. And despite President Joe Biden's campaigning as a moderate unifier, that polarization could soon get worse. It doesn't come as a shock that Trump divided the country. Americans weren't exactly unified before he showed up on the scene. Not like this, though. They weren't this split. But the degree of polarization reached under Trump is nonetheless striking. Back in 1976, when voters routinely split their tickets, there were 124 crossover districts that elected a member of one party to the House of Representatives and the other party to the White House. That number shrunk to 16 in the last election. Again, don't trust a word out of his mouth. I have no reason to doubt this. Just look it up, because he lies about even inconsequential things. 9 Republicans were elected in districts Biden won, and 7 Democrats won in districts that went for Trump. The partisan divide in Americans' opinions of Donald Trump's presidency has only widened since he left office. Even around the globe, Trump left a legacy of division when he left office. All this division, which President Donald Trump brought, reminded me of Jesus, the Son of God, when he said that he did not come to bring peace, but rather to divide people against each other and the sword, or guns, according to Luke 12. Jesus loves guns, and so does President Trump. Jesus loves guns? Are you kidding me? Let's just look one of these up. Matthew 10:34. This supposedly tells us that Jesus loves guns. Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. Okay, that doesn't tell me Jesus loves guns. Let's see. Luke 12:49. Let's look that one up. I have come to bring fire on the earth, and how I wish it were already kindled. What does that have to do with guns? I just completely lost. Luke 22:38. Now he is not God out of the dead, but of the living, for all live to him. What does this have to do with loving guns? Nothing. I don't understand. Is he just throwing random verses in that don't connect to absolutely anything? It's complete nonsense. Next chapter is number 28. President Donald John Trump and Air Force One and Air Force Two. Wait, isn't Air Force Two the one that the vice president rides? Air Force Two is the air traffic control designated call sign held by any U.S. Air Force aircraft carrying the U.S. vice president, but not the president. Yeah, right. That's what I thought. It's the vice president's airplane. And once again, we find a chapter that start with 3 capital words rather than no capital words. Again, bizarre. Although it is Air Force One, the United States military has 2 planes that are designated as the official planes for presidential travel under the call sign Air Force One. The 2 planes serving in the Air Force One fleet today have been in service since 1990, and one of them is always ready to fly. Air Force One is the official air traffic control call sign for a United States Air Force aircraft carrying the President of the United States. In common parlance, the term is used to denote U.S. Air Force aircraft modified and used to transport the president. The aircraft is a prominent symbol of the American presidency and its power. I would bet anything this is, once again, a direct plagiarism straight from Wikipedia. Let's look. Yep, it directly plagiarized straight from Wikipedia. And also, not for nothing, but they put the word on at the end of a sentence here. It does not belong there. They should have said, although it can be used to refer to any Air Force aircraft on which the president travels. That's what they really should have written in that article. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Yeah, just plagiarizing straight from Wikipedia. The honestly surprising bit about this is the fact that Wikipedia articles haven't changed for so long that, like, a couple years later, it's still an exact quote. The Air Force One call sign was created in 1953 after a Lockheed Constellation named Columbine 2, carrying President Dwight D. Eisenhower, entered the same airspace as a commercial airline flight using the same flight number. Air Force 2 is the air traffic control call sign held by any U.S. Air Force aircraft carrying the U.S. Vice President, but not the President. The term is often associated with the Boeing C-32, a modified 757, which is most commonly used as the vice president's transport. Okay, he's repeating himself now, so I'm going to assume that we're done plagiarizing from Wikipedia, and he's just saying the same thing over and over again now. The New Testament refers to two donkeys, just like the two planes, Air Force One and Air Force Two of the United States of America. Air Force One is like a donkey? All right. The Bible is just a code book, just as Michael Drosnin explained in his bestseller, The Bible Code. The Bible Code is a book by Michael Drosnin, first published by Simon & Schuster in 1997. A sequel, Bible Code 2, The Countdown, was published by Penguin Random House in 2002. Wow, those are really big publishers. And also reached New York Times bestseller status. Again, don't believe a word out of his mouth. Look it up yourself. In 2010, Bible Code 3, Saving the World, was published by World Media Inc., completing a trilogy. Are these books nonfiction, or are they fiction, or what kind of books are these? Are they like novels, like spy novels, or is he reading these as like... He's definitely reading these books as though they're real, they're actual nonfiction, factual, informational books. Are they informational? I don't know. I've never heard of them before. The two donkeys are just an allegory or a parable, according to Matthew 21, for Air Force One and Air Force Two. Mark and Luke agree that Jesus rode on a donkey, and that's the story that's told in thousands of churches today. This is a quote, by the by. Matthew, on the other hand, has Jesus riding two beasts at the same time, an odd, albeit remarkable feat. Matthew explains that Jesus did so to fulfill older Hebrew scriptures, and he partly quotes Zechariah, writing, "Tell the daughter of Zion, look, your king is coming to you." No comma in there. A comma definitely belonged, but none was found. Humble and mounted on a donkey, on a colt, a foal of a donkey. Okay. And this is supposed to be... There's no, like, it's a quote in italics, and he doesn't tell us what it's from. I'm assuming it was a quote from Bible Code? That's really weird. What was Bible Code 2 Judgment Day? Hang on. Give me a second. Let me look something up here. Yeah. Bible Code 2 Judgment Day. Like Terminator 2. Terminator 3. What was Terminator 3's name? Yeah. Bible Code. What were these books called? Bible Code 2 Judgment Day and Bible Code 3 Rise of the Machines or something like that? Okay. Okay, this is chapter 29. President Donald John Trump, take away both our capital and our nation. This is the name of the chapter. I'm sorry, let me read it as it's written. President Donald John Trump, comma, take away both our capital and our nation. Is this a declarative statement, or is it a request that he's making? Is he asking him to do this? And once again, the first three words are capitalized. The formatting in this book is just insane. It makes no sense at all. None. All right, let's keep reading here. The stature of President Donald Trump is exceedingly great. How this man, who is no politician, comma, just like Jesus was, comma, campaigned throughout the land and gathered hundreds of thousands of people together at one place is phenomenal. All right. I often ask myself how he did it. How did he pull such a thing off? Surely he made himself stand out from all the previous presidents of America. The leftist Jewish media, oh my God, hated him for who he is. So did Nancy Pelosi. I'm sorry, wait. Hated him for who he is, semicolon. So, comma, did Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and the evil rest of the demon rats. Don't you forget about the Bushes, comma, too. They all hated Trump for his guts and his accomplishments, and most of all, the love which he has from the people of the United States of America. America loves Trump, exclamation mark. They are filled with hate and envy. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, and the evil rest of the demonic Democrats uttered the same words as those Pharisees in the time of Jesus, comma, and said, quote, see, this is getting us nowhere. Look how the whole world has gone after Trump. And if we let him thus alone, all America will believe in him, and the Republicans shall come and take away both our place in Washington, D.C. and nation, end quote, according to John 12:19 and John 11:48. What? Did he just quote, or did he just claim to quote from John 12 and talk all about Trump? This is insane. What is at John 12:19 anyway? So the Pharisees said one to another, "You see that you are gaining nothing. Look, the world has gone after him." That's what John 12:19 says. And his quote says, "See, this is getting us nowhere. Look how the whole world has gone after Trump. And if we let him thus alone, all America will believe in him, and the Republicans shall come and take away both our place in Washington, D.C. and nation." This is nuts, dude. Oh, my God. Don't be bluffed. The story of Jesus, the Son of God, is still the same exact script as to President Donald John Trump, who is the Son of Man. It is the exact same storyline. Story and line are two separate words here. Wow. Just wow, dude. This is insane. The media deliberately didn't show tens of thousands of people who gathered at the Trump rallies. They were all envious of him, including Hillary Clinton and the rest of the Democrats. Hundreds of thousands of supporters of U.S. President Donald Trump were at the rally in Washington, D.C. on November 14th, 2020. Supporters are, by the by, November 8th is when the election took place, I think, this year. November 14th was after the election took place and Trump knew that he had already lost. Supporters are backing Trump's claim that the November 3rd election was fraudulent. I'm sorry, November 8th was the previous election. November 3rd was this election. My wife, Hanley, and I were there on November 14th, 2020 in Washington, D.C. among those hundreds of thousands of people. It was not hundreds of thousands of people. That's absurd. People from all over the world were there. I had my old South African flag with me, supporting President Donald Trump. The atmosphere was alive, energetic, and dynamic. When I watched the fake news, they only showed a few people in Washington, D.C., but then a picture was tweeted by President Donald Trump showing how he flew over D.C. and showed the biggest ever crowd stationed in Washington, D.C. on November 14th. This man is loved by the people, and the leftist Jewish media know this. They hated him, and they are envious of him, just as the Jews were with Jesus, who had the crowds of people. Interesting. Well, I know the guy's anti-Semitic. That's a fact. Obviously, we've seen it all through this book. But I'm wondering if he's calling, like, his enemies the Jews, because he seems to believe that the Jews were the enemy of Jesus, and it's like some weird backwards, like, religious position that he has to hold. Absolutely strange. President Donald Trump spoke at a rally near the White House on January 6, 2021, before a mob stormed the U.S. Capitol to try to stop Congress from certifying President-elect Joe Biden's stolen victory. It was not stolen. Joe Biden won fair and square, and Donald Trump tried to mount an insurrection against the U.S. government to force them to, well, really to force a constitutional crisis so that he could delay, so that he could convince the military to back him or whatever other nonsense. That's what he was trying to do. Trump was impeached that following Wednesday by the U.S. House on a single charge of incitement of insurrection. Is that true? Is that what he was impeached for? I'm not really sure. The Jewish leftist media refused to show the magnitude of that crowd that day who came in support of Trump. No, I think everybody's seen how big the crowd was that Trump brought to the Capitol, for sure. It was thousands. It was a couple thousand, I think. Here's a transcript of Trump's January 6, 2021 speech. How long is this? Oh, it's not too long. I guess we can read it. Okay, this is a quote. Again, I'm not even sure if we should believe what he writes in this book, but we'll read it, see what he says. Well, thank you very much. This is incredible. The media will not show the magnitude of this crowd. Even I, when I turned on today, I looked and I saw thousands of people here. But you don't see hundreds of thousands of people behind you because they don't want to show that. Yeah, that's a common trick that he does a lot. Try to get the cameras to turn around and show the crowd. It's a manipulation tactic. We have hundreds of thousands of people here, and I just want them to be recognized by the fake news media. Turn your cameras, please, and show what's really happening out here, because these people are going to take it because these people aren't going to take it any longer. They're not going to take it any longer. Go ahead, turn your cameras, please. Would you show? They came from all over the world, actually, but they came from all over the country. Doesn't even make any sense. I just really want to see what they do. I just want to see how they covered. I've never seen anything like it, but it would be really great if I could be covered. Fairly by the media. The media is the biggest problem we have as far as I'm concerned. Single biggest problem. The fake news and the big tech. He's such a crybaby snowflake. Andrew Tate is a crybaby snowflake too. Drives me nuts. Their personalities are so similar to each other. Okay, this is back to the guy writing, apparently. How this single man can bring tens of thousands of people together is out of this world, just as great multitudes of people follow Jesus from everywhere. It is a phenomenon. I love to listen to him, how he speaks, and to look at his body language when he is in front of the cameras and the crowds. Yeah, this guy literally believes him to be divine. Like, literally Jesus level. Like, he thinks Trump's a god. So he thinks he's seeing the physical manifestation of God when he sees Trump speak. The Jewish media and the leftist Democrats hate Trump, for he has millions of people from all over the world supporting him, and they don't have that kind of support ever. All of this reminded me about Jesus, the Son of God, when the Pharisees said to one another, "See, this is getting us nowhere. Look how the whole world has gone after him. And if we let him thus alone, all men will believe in him, and the Romans, or Republicans, shall come and take away both our place and nation," according to John 12:19. President Donald J. Trump, the Son of Man, has the exact same storyline as Jesus, the Son of God. That's why Joe Biden and the Democrats were much afraid of Donald Trump, just as the Pharisees were afraid of Jesus, who had the people behind him. And they were afraid that they would lose their seats in the House, their capital, and their nation. They had to get rid of Trump because he had the people and they did not. Okay, wow, that was a wild chapter and confusing. It's like he's just making wild declarations all through the entire book with no reason to back it up or no, like, evidence or excuses or anything through here. It's just bizarre, all of it. Well, tell you what, let's read one more chapter. Chapter 30. President Donald John Trump. They're not after me, they're after you. Oh, this is a common meme in Trump circles, especially in QAnon circles. It's completely made up, of course. Like, it's just persecution propaganda to improve Trump's image, basically. But this is the meme right here. Trump retweeted it, apparently. In reality, they're not after me, they're after you. I'm just standing in the way, is what it says. I'm just in the way. Yeah, here you go. I'm trying to pull it up. Well, apparently I can't pull it up all the way, but yeah. This is it right here. I'm just in the way. In reality, they're not after me, they're after you. I'm just in the way. It's just propagandistic nonsense to make him feel better about himself, make him look better. That's about all there is to it. Once again, a chapter with 3 words capitalized at the beginning. U.S. President Donald Trump, who is no stranger to sharing cryptic tweets and memes, first tweeted a sentence and then a meme of himself. The president's with an apostrophe S was one of the most shared tweets, with hundreds responding to it by creating their own versions with modifications to the text. Okay. President Trump, the Son of Man, tweeted a meme of himself seated in a chair and pointing into the camera with the text above him saying, "In reality, they're not after me, they're after you." The text below said, "I'm just in the way." It wasn't immediately clear what the context of the tweet was. There was no context. It was just a propaganda tweet. This isn't even the first time Trump has shared the meme, having shared a similar meme after House Democrats voted to impeach him. In the past, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu shared a version of the meme with the text in Hebrew. The meme was also used by supporters of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi before the 2019 Lok Sabha elections. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Jesus, the Son of God, also said the same thing according to John 15, related to the meme which President Donald Trump, the Son of Man, tweeted. In reality, they're not after me, they're after you, I'm just in the way. Oh my God, this guy repeats himself constantly. The scriptures, according to John 15, has the exact same message and meaning as Trump's famous meme which he tweeted. John 15:18-25. They hated me first is what that verse is, if you remember that. If the world hates you, keep in mind they hated me first. If you belong to the world, it would love you as its own. As it is, you belong to the world, blah, blah, blah. That's the verse he's referring to here. Okay, interesting. As soon as you realize that the gods, Trump included, are already among us and that there is no religion in the scriptures, the more hidden secrets in the scriptures you will discover along the way. Well, he's just coming out and saying it here. Trump is a god. That's insane. Without a doubt, President Trump is the Son of Man, and soon God will be seen next to Trump. King David says that the gods can become humans, according to Psalm 82, and so was Jesus also a God in the flesh. Just as President Donald Trump is an everlasting God who came back to earth to do God's work. That is just bizarre. Everything about it. It's seriously like a fever dream. It's insane. How this guy got to this point in his life, I will never know. And how other people arrived at these conclusions too, honestly blows me away. This is absolutely nuts. Let me know what you think about it in the comments.